All right, hello everyone. In today's video, we're going to do a very short, kind of 3-minute financial checkup for you. So if you're thinking about your personal finances and you're maybe not sure where the blind spots are, take a look at today's video, work through the questions with me and see how you're doing. So today, it's basically going to be a self-assessment. There are 5 areas we're going to look at. And I'd like you to score yourself. And this is basically a mental exercise. We're trying to figure out what the unknown unknowns are. And the 5 areas are very, very basic personal finance areas. So it's earning, it's spending, it's saving, it's investing, and it's protecting. And all of these are pretty important when you're building up your personal financial foundation. Now, earning, I've just got 3 simple questions for you. Do you earn enough money? And of course, this hinges on enough. Do you have a plan to increase your earnings? And do you have more than one source of income? So if you can answer yes to one of these, you get half a point. If you answer yes to all of these, you get 1 point. And if you answer yes to none of these, you get 0 points. So just make a note of that, and let's go on to the next section. Next section is spending. This is a little bit trickier to score. So do you spend all your income? So a yes here is a 0, and a no here is a positive. What would you do with a windfall? So this is basically saying, if you got some extra cash, what would you do with it? Would you go out and buy something? Now, be honest. Be honest. Actually, imagine the situation. Be honest here. Would you go out and buy that new MacBook Air M2, or would you do something perhaps more sensible with the money, like invest it or save it or whatever? And again, this is, good or bad. And then have you thought about what makes you happy? Now, for me, this was the biggest game changer in terms of spending. And it was thinking about what kind of purchases made me happy, how spending money made my life better or not better. And basically really optimizing my spending in that way. So again here, if you have the correct response to all 3 of these, you get 1 point. 1 or 2, you get half a point, and none, you get 0 points. Next one's savings. So these happily go back to yes, no. So do you save every month? Do you have an emergency fund? And have you saved for future short-term, medium-term expenses that you know about? Okay, so a yes for all of these is a point. 1 or 2 is half a point, and none is 0 points again. Next, we come into investing. Same pattern. So do you invest at the moment? Do you have either got a NISA account? If you are a US citizen, please ignore this question. They're probably not a good fit for you. But anyone else, if you live in Japan, do you have an iDeCo or a NISA account? And do you have an investment plan? Do you have a plan going forward? Do you have an idea of how your investments are going to perform? What that might look like in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time? So again, 1, half, or 0 points for this question. And finally, protecting. So this is referring to insurance. So do you have necessary insurance? And again, this is going to hinge on necessary. What do you need for your particular situation? Do you understand your insurance? So the terms and conditions, when you can claim, how much you can claim, that kind of thing. And I think this is important. Do you know when to cancel? So do you know when you're not going to need that insurance anymore? So again, if you can answer yes to all of these, you get 1 point because you have mastered protection. All right, so the 5 areas: earning, spending, saving, investing, and protecting. Let's look at my scores just to start with. So for me, I would give myself half a point for earning because, as you might know, I retired this year. So I don't really have a plan to increase my income. But I do have several sources of income, and I do earn enough at the moment. So half a point for me there. Spending, I think I've got it locked down now after about 15 years of kind of mental training on this one. Saving, again, I think that's pretty good. Investing, I probably have too much of a plan. I spend far too much time thinking about this stuff. And protecting, this is a weak area for me because I'm not as familiar with insurance as I am with, say, investing or spending psychology and so on. So for me, we do have a number of different insurance products. I'm not as familiar with them as I should be, but I do have an idea of which ones are necessary and which ones aren't. So, right, so here, this is a breakdown by age. So just to give you some perspective, I think if you're in your 20s, having 0 for this quiz is fine. I certainly would have if I'd taken the quiz in my 20s. You've got plenty of time to work on this stuff. But, having watched the video, having gone through the checkup, maybe you're feeling interested in getting, maybe starting to optimize a bit more. If you're in your 30s, I would expect you to score at least 2 on the quiz. And that would probably be okay as long as you start working on your deficient areas. If you're in your 40s, I'd be looking for a 3, 50s and 60s, at least 4, at least, in terms of being ready to maybe get closer to retirement and so on. In the comments, please post your score. I'm actually really interested in seeing what kind of scores people are getting and also the areas that you'd like to work on, because obviously we can then make Retire Japan for Dummies videos about those areas. So let me know what you'd like to see. And if you need more help, please come along to the website and the forum. And if you're new here, do subscribe to the channel because we need all the help we can get. All right, thanks a lot. See you in the next video.